Oh, apparently we're live. Happy New Comic Book Day, everyone. My name is Greg. John's behind the camera. Once again, we're here at Midtown Comics Times Square to give you a look at some of today's biggest new releases. But first, we have two special guests from Valiant Comics because it is a very big day for them. They not only have Exo Manowar #1, the return of Eric of Dacia, as well as Bloodshot Reborn Zero, two very big comics. And we are here with Charlotte and Robert.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you very much for joining us. So, Exo Manowar #1.
Exo #1, big day.
For all the people out there watching, whether they love Valiant or whether this is the first time they've even heard of Valiant, why should they read this?
It is an epic space opera. It's Star Wars meets Conan the Barbarian. If you're a Valiant fan, if you've read Exo, it's a brand new chapter. Matt Kint is crafting just a brilliant, beautiful story. It's been a pleasure to work with him on this book. And we have a rising star in Tomas Giorello and Diego Rodriguez on art. We open the chapter. Arik has left Earth. He is on the planet Gorin, attempting to leave a life of war and conflict behind him, except when you're Exo Manowar, war finds you.
I think we say war dogs his heels. You can't escape it. But yeah, the art is absolutely stunning. Tomas and Diego have done an unbelievable job. They're a insanely good partnership, and we're so excited to have them for the first arc of this new series.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's, when we get new art in our inbox every morning, and it's like the highlight of the day. Everybody crowds around the computer just to see what came in. These guys are just really at the top of their game. Kind of a masters at the top of their game. So.
And this first story arc with Tomas, it's 3 issues, right?
3-issue arc, correct. Yeah. It's Soldier. Second arc is General, which will star Matt Kim again, of course, and Doug Braithwaite on art there. And in General, not to give spoilers alert, but General is the next evolution in Arc's campaign on this new planet. Soldier will be, General will be followed by Emperor.
Okay.
Which will be the 3rd arc with amazing art by Clayton Crane. I can't show you right now, but I can tell you the pages are absolutely gorgeous.
It's really, really cool.
So my expectations are pretty high for this because, as you guys know, Robert Venditti, he had an epic run.
Epic. 56 issues.
Yeah.
One of one of the longest streaks in modern time, I believe.
So no pressure on Matt Kint whatsoever.
None at all. None at all. I think Matt's ready. And I think everybody's going to be pretty excited about where we're taking this character. Absolutely 100% respect to the masterful work that Robert Venditti did, and it's just a new chapter.
Cool.
Yeah, if you read the original Exo and you loved it, this is something completely different, but definitely retains kind of the most wonderful parts of the character and the world. And this is, of course, a sci-fi world that takes us off Earth, so it is different. But if you love the original, please pick up this new one. It is our baby. It is a work of art. It is blood and sweat and tears. So we're very, very proud to present it to the world.
Speaking of blood, fine transition there. Bloodshot Reborn Zero. Jeff Lemire is continuing his work with the character.
Yep.
Same thing with Exo Manowar. Whether people love Bloodshot or whether this is the first time they are hearing about the character, why should they pick this up?
Oh, wow.
Aside from the
Why
Green
shouldn't they
Ranger
pick it up?
portraying him in the upcoming web series.
Exactly. So web series, of course. Wow, Bloodshot Reborn Zero is the prelude to our next Bloodshot chapter, which will be titled Bloodshot Salvation, becoming in the fall. Jeff Lemire, again, working, he's crafted just this amazing story. So this is sort of the end point of Reborn, but also the beginning point of Salvation. We actually had to do a spoiler-free cover, which I'm not sure if you guys have it on the rack over there or not, but I'm not going to give that away for people who are going to read it today. But let's just say that it's going to knock your socks off.
I did see the Blood Squirt cover. I love that
the
one.
Blood Squirt cover is brilliant.
Yes, read Bloodshot Reborn. It's great. Jeff Lemire, he juggles so many projects, and somehow they're all really good. How does he do that?
You know, he's an artist.
He's a professional.
He's a
That's how he
professional,
does it.
And he's an art. Yeah, the Bloodshot stuff. He writes these for us, and the scripts come in, and they're like, "Well, that's done." We don't, there's very little work on our end, and then we get into the art starts coming in on the next arc, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about yet, so I'm not going to. But let me tell you, the next segment's going to be amazing. And this chapter here is it's great. New villain, startling new reveal in the life of Bloodshot, and it picks up from where Bloodshot USA stopped. So there's a whole new villain, whole new structure, whole new storyline for Bloodshot.
Is there anything else you would like to add to all the people watching on Facebook Live about Valiant Comics, or in particular EXO and Bloodshot?
I would add that if you haven't read Bloodshot before, this is actually an amazing place to start. For new fans, if you just see it and pick it up because the cover is amazing, I know that happens, you will enjoy it, you'll not be sorry. So give Bloodshot a chance if you haven't tried it yet.
I would say for EXO Manowar, it's a great jumping on point. It's a continuation of a character with one of our flagship characters, but it's a brand new storyline, and it's one of the, in scope, one of the biggest. If you like sci-fi, if you like Star Wars, like I said, Conan the Barbarian, this is the book for you.
Great.
The supporting cast in EXO, one more thing, is just also amazing. Got some really, really strong alien ladies coming, so get ready. It's going to be big.
Stuff in there.
Sounds good. Looking forward to reading it. Robert, Charlotte, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now let's take a look at some other new comics. And once we get to these on the rack, we'll give you a closer look at all of them. So up first, as always, is Dark Horse Comics. Speaking of Jeff Lemire, a new issue of Black Hammer, issue number 7. The trade paperback for that, I believe, comes out in 2 weeks. So if you've fallen behind on this critically acclaimed series, I think I saw on Twitter even Ron Perlman wants to star in a movie about it or read it. The Black Hammer Volume 1 is coming out sometime soon. For all the Buffy fans, there's, of course, a new issue of Buffy. And there's a few other Dark Horse new releases, Rebels, Empowered, and Department H. Then we get into DC Comics. They have a lot of new releases today. You have Son of the Penguin going on over in Batgirl. You have a new chapter of Batman Beyond featuring Terry McGinnis. There's also Dark Knight 3, number 8. I will, of course, give you a preview of this because how could I not? This is the penultimate chapter. This series is going to conclude with issue 9. And just stay tuned to our social media pages because we may or may not eventually have an exciting announcement about this. We'll see. It's a fun, well, fun isn't the right way to describe Dark Knight 3, but we want to have fun celebrating the last issue, so stay tuned. All right, let's end it on that note. So once again, that is the penultimate, second to last issue of the Return of the Dark Knight Returns universe. It's co-written by Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello, features artwork by Andy Kubert, as well as Claus Jansen. And we also, there's a whole lot of Batman going on today. Batman Detective Comics. This is continuation of League of Shadows. The cover is not a lie. You do have Orphan versus Batman in this, as well as another Orphan fight. It also features Lady Shiva. Definitely check this out. This is, I'd say, one of the strongest Batman titles out there right now. Holy classic team-up Batman. Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77. If you love the classic shows, it's a no-brainer. It's also the very fun Blue Beetle number 7. Deathstroke returns with a new chapter, Deathstroke 15. Give you a look at both covers. I believe that's Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork. And then DC's continuing their Young Animal line with the return of Doom Patrol, issue number 5. There's also The Flash. I don't want to spoil anything. One cover should... There you go. Captain Boomerang. If you're interested in the character, this is the second chapter of a brand new story going on in The Flash. Very fun title. If you enjoyed the show, if you're interested in the character, give it a shot. DC is also releasing a Hanna-Barbera line with a lot of animated shows. One of them is, of course, Future Quest, issue number 11. There's also Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 17. This is follow-up to the very brutal fight between Guy Gardner and Arkillo. There's also Hellblazer, number 8. I believe Hellblazer Volume 1 goes on sale next week. There's a reprint of the Commandy Challenge, which is the return to Jack Kirby's classic universe. This is a very interesting series because there's a new creative team on every single issue. And it's up to the new creative team to resolve the cliffhanger that the previous creative team created for them. Sorry. There's also Mother Panic continuing the DC Young Animal line, number 5. Suicide Squad number 14. Not going to give you a preview of that because I don't want to spoil anything. It's been a lot of conflict, which is exactly what you'd expect from the Suicide Squad, but it's getting pretty violent, which is also what you'd basically expect from a group called Suicide Squad. It's also a reprint of the very first issue, and a reprint of one of my favorite runs right now, Super Sons. There's only 2 issues in, but it has left quite an impression. Very entertaining, lighthearted, and just simply enjoyable book. And here we have the conclusion of Superman Reborn in Action Comics number 976. I'm not going to give you a preview of that because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you liked the Rebirth one-shot, Superman Reborn is mandatory reading. It continues the mystery of... I won't say anything else. If you like mystery and you're curious about what's going on in the DC universe, it's mandatory reading. It's also a brand new chapter of Teen Titans, The Rise of Aqualad Part 1, Issue 6. This is written by friend of the store, Benjamin Percy. I believe Co-Fam is on the artwork. Have not read this yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's also another chapter of The Truth from Wonder Woman. Seeing as it is a big year for Wonder Woman, let's give you a preview of this. Now, this is still written by Gregg Rucka and illustrated by Liam Sharp. And don't look out for spoilers on this one. If you're interested in Wonder Woman, read it for yourself. Don't have the ending spoiled for you. It's a nice moment right there. And there, they're teasing a new story arc in Suicide Squad, The Return of Zod. And before we move on to other publishers, let's take a look at some of the new collected editions from Dark Horse as well as DC. For all the Mass Effect fans out there, check this out. It's also an adult coloring book for Mass Effect. I'll give you a preview. So you can color all of these any way you want to. And then we also have Batgirl Volume 1 from the Rebirth line. You also have Brian K. Vaughan's Batman, which, is this Volume 1 of this? I'm not sure if they're releasing multiple chapters. I don't recall how much Brian K. Vaughan actually worked with the character. There's also Cyborg Volume 1, the Flintstones Volume 1, which I've heard nothing but great stuff about. I haven't read it. There's also the Bronze Age, Justice League of America, Omnibus Volume 1. This is a hefty collection for a hefty team. Then there's also WWE number 3 from Boom Studios. And as we were just talking about, Valiant. They have Exo Manowar number 1 and Bloodshot 0. Going to give you guys a preview. And then we'll talk to Vic about some of his favorite new releases. Once again, this is a jumping on point. So if you're totally new to Bloodshot, feel free to hop on. If you've been enjoying the run, it's a no-brainer to continue. It's Jeff Lemire still writing it. How can you resist? Friendly reminder that Valiant is also doing a web series, which will likely debut later this year, which features the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank, as Bloodshot, as well as Exo Manowar, Ninjak, and many other characters. So it'll be a fun introduction to many of the characters. Check that out. As the good people from Valiant said before, each story arc in this new series will be 3 issues, and there'll be an all-star lineup of artists. As you can tell right here, the art is amazing, and it'll be followed up by an equally amazing artist, and then another amazing artist. I believe it's Doug Braithwaite as well as Clayton Crane. They are really going all out with their flagship character. And this is a comic you should not miss this week. let's end it on that note.
Look at that! It's crazy!
Let's give you a close-up. Alright, so once again, Exo Manowar, #1. Don't miss it. Well, there are quite a few other new releases from assorted publishers. Before we look at all of these, let's bring in Vic. Vic, how's it going?
Gregg. It's going good. It's going good. How you been?
Good, man, good.
Awesome.
So what have you read and what do you recommend?
This week I caught up with Hal Jordan, Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
Anyone misses Kyle Rayner? He's back. And I mean like as Green Lantern back. I mean, the cover basically gives it away, but what an issue. It just felt great. A lot of callbacks to when Kyle was first introduced in the 90s. Action Comics, another solid issue. We're getting more about what's going on with the stuff that was shown in the Rebirth one-shot. I will say anyone who thinks that it's Dr. Manhattan is the real villain, reread some classic DC stuff from, let's say, the last 10 years, because it's definitely not them. The answers are in there. They're there. They're in there. That also, I'm definitely checking out Exo Manowar. I did not have a chance to read it yet, unfortunately, but it's written by Matt Kint, who I loved on Divinity, and he writes Ninjax. Those are two of my favorite Valiant books. And Tomas Giorello, I'm not familiar with his art, but I love the interiors of this book. It reminds me a lot of Saad Ribic on the Thor, God of Thunder, and Secret Wars. So right off the bat, that's what sells me. I will say that my main awesome surprise this week is Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, the movie, the comic adaptation for a film you've never seen that never came out. If you guys are familiar with Transformers vs. G.I. Joe from Thomas Sicoli, I'm pretty sure I messed that name up. He draws all the characters pretty much like they're action figures. And right now we're looking at a movie adaptation, comic adaptation for a movie that doesn't exist. And that alone makes me want to read this. And the fact that everyone's drawn the way they're supposed to look, not so much that the way they are right now. It's all classic, very vintage. So this is definitely on my radar for this week. So basically, Exo Manowar, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Action Comics is great. Hal Jordan was amazing. And yeah, just keep reading. Love everything. And also, reread a lot of the DC stuff that's been going on, especially anything from Jeff Johns. I'm pretty sure he's throwing the hints out there everywhere. Just reread a couple of things. You might get to see a picture of who's that cloaked guy that's been just snatching up people. Probably one of my favorite villains.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Vic, thank you very much.
You got it.
And then we get into IDW Publishing. Before we get there, there's Powerless, first issue from Vault. There's the continuation of Batman and the Ninja Turtles. This is, of course, the animated counterparts. You have the current Nick versions as well as the classic Kevin Conroy Batman. So that's been a very fun team up. And from IDW Publishing, they have a lot going on this week. There's Brutal Nature, #1. But the highlight for me, which I haven't read yet, but I have nothing but faith in it, Ghostbusters 101, #1. This is a team up between the new Ghostbusters and the classic Ghostbusters. It doesn't matter how you feel about the new Ghostbusters movie, because this creative team has so much passion for this franchise, and they've done such great work with it so far. If you do love the original movies, check out, what's it called? Mass Hysteria. I believe it's collected as either 2 trade paperbacks or 1 big collection. It feels like a third movie. It's just a real nice follow-up to the films, as well as including what they've been doing over the years, and as you can see, includes quite a few new characters. I don't believe I give credit yet. It's written by Eric Burnham, illustrated by Dan Schoening, and I believe the colorist is Luis Delgado. So if you're one of the people out there who loves the original movies or even the animated shows, you should be checking out what IDW Publishing is doing with this franchise. Fun fact, they also had a team up with the Ninja Turtles not too long ago. Maybe it was a year or two. I don't recall exactly, but you can find that collected edition now. Alright, so once again, Ghostbusters 101, featuring a team up between the classic Ghostbusters and the current Ghostbusters, written by a team who has so much love for the franchise. Give it a shot if you love this franchise. There's also a new chapter of G.I. Joe. Judge Dredd, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Gem and the Misfits. There's a lot going on from IDW Publishing today. There's also a new issue of Optimus Prime. And as Vic pointed out before, Transformers versus G.I. Joe, the movie, which is, you know, its own movie. It's not based on an actual movie. And then we get into Image Comics, a chapter of Birthright by the writer of The Flash, Joshua Williamson. There's also a new Black Road, Circuit Breaker. Curse Words by friend of the store Charles Sewell and artist Ryan Brown. Very, very, very well crafted and entertaining story. I believe, issue 1 and 2 are reprinted. So if you pick up issue 3, piques your interest, you have the chance now to pick up 1 and 2 as well. It's also Descender, Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nugent, The Few. And now we encounter Vic again.
Reborn, number
Reborn.
5.
Okay, well, give them a look. Why should people be reading Reborn aside from the obvious that it's Mark Millar and Greg Capullo?
Well, for as far as I can tell, Greg Capullo is known for Spawn or his recent run on Batman. So Capullo.
No,
Oh, don't be like that.
Batman.
But yeah, so I take this as like some original art that he's done in a while. It's just him letting loose and being free to draw pretty much whatever Mark writes in the script or whatever his mind could come up with.
That must have taken so much time.
So, and also, I just love...
Oh, and Empress is being collected soon.
Guys, pick that up. That was a lot of fun.
It's also Mark and Stuart Inman in.
But I love the main villain here. I just love it. It's a cross between like Legend, Tim Curry's character in Legend, but I always forget his name. But just far more like his evil gray cousin that no one wants to talk about, really. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It's Mark Millar gives you pretty much. He'll take the most common conventions of stories and does his little unique spin on it, and it's very popular. It's a reason why people always come in asking for Kick-Ass or Super Crooks, Superior. They like the way he writes.
Yeah. Ultimates. Yeah.
Ultimate. My
Enemy
brother
of the State.
just bought that. He just bought it. Finally.
Better late than never, man.
Better late than never, and he's loving every bit of it. I told him, just Ultimates 1 and 2. You don't have to go as far
Okay,
as
so
that.
he picked up 2 as well.
He did pick up
good.
2, yeah.
Because 2 is great.
2 is amazing.
There's also Enemy in the State.
Yes.
Should definitely get that.
Yeah,
He
no,
likes Wolverine.
yeah, he'll get around to that.
And Superman Red Son. Why isn't that an animated movie yet?
The man has a good catalog.
Yes.
He had a great catalog. I would love to see him actually come back to Marvel or DC, even for like a short stint or like a mini series. His creator-owned stuff is great. I love it, but
Maybe
oh
one
man,
day.
if you could write Superman or even Batman,
I would like to see him return to Superman. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because, Red Son.
I love
Awesome
Red Son.
stuff.
I remember when it came out, it just completely blew me away with the fact that he was just taking America's favorite superhero and then turning it on its head. It was really
Not
fun.
relevant at all right now.
No.
Moving on. All right. So there's a few more new releases from Image Comics. So we ended with Reborn. There's also Ringside, Savage Dragon, She-Wolf, Shudder, Spread, and Stray Bullets. Under Winter, #1 from Ray Fox, and Violent Love from Frank Barbieri and Victor Santos. And then Marvel, they have quite a few new releases today. But before we look at that, we're going to take a look at their new collections. You have the Uncanny Avengers from Civil War II now collected, as well as Civil War II Fallout with the great Mike Del Mundo cover. You have Deadpool Too Soon is also collected. If you are interested in reading more about Iron Fist, let's see what this collects. Alright, so it collects his appearances in Spider-Man, Marvel Comics Presents, Namor the Submariner. So it's going full 90s, it looks like, in here. If you ever wonder what it would be like if Iron Fist and Spider-Man fought. And while we're talking about Iron Fist, the one recommendation I and countless others will always give to people, Immortal Iron Fist. It's a great run.
Speaking of Spider-Man and Iron Fist fighting, didn't someone do an editorial about
Oh yeah,
Iron Fist?
All right. So if you want to, I had a little fun the other day. I wrote about the top fighters in the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, who are the most skilled combatants. So if you want to read that list, it's on blog.midtowncomics.com. Obviously, Iron Fist made the cut. There are many obvious picks on there, but there are a few that I think may surprise you, and there may even be a character or two that you've never heard of before. So hopefully you learn something. And if you read it and go, why isn't insert character's name here on this list? Chime in on the comments. Let the world know that you think a certain character deserves more love, and even make a reading recommendation or two. Could inspire someone out there to check out a totally new character and pick up some comics that you adore. So there's also Night Raven, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, Wolverine versus the Punisher. Very one-sided fight unless Frank has a lot of prep. There are a lot of embarrassing moments in here for Wolverine, though, written by, of course, Garth Ennis, who loves the Punisher and hasn't been too kind to Wolverine. I mean, he shoots him in the crotch, the face. He runs him over with a, I don't remember what it's called, but this also has a classic fight between the two, which is very, very short because it's a close encounter. And I think Wolverine just slashes him once. Yeah. And then Frank falls into a river. Let's see if my memory's right. Yep, there we go. Then they have a bit a little more of a brawl before they realize they're, of course, on the same side. Let's see what else is in here. Let me see if I can find you the examples I was talking about before, written by Garth Ennis. Yep, here we go. Shoots him in the face with a shotgun. Where's the crotch blast? It's somewhere. Oh, don't you worry, it's on the way. Oh, excuse me, it's with a baseball bat. So he shoots him in the face with a shotgun, hits him in the groin with a bat. It is not the most flattering showing for Wolverine, but he gets his revenge later on. So if you like both these characters, you just want to see them at odds, Marvel heard you, and they released this. It collects a lot of issues, and it looks like the cover price is $39.99. There you go. And you got Mike Deodato's artwork right on the cover. And a look at the classic X-Force with, of course, Robert Liefeld. Now, down here, it looks like this collects X-Force, the first 15 issues, the first annual, Spider-Man 16, and Wolverine 54. It has a cover price of $39.99. Let's flip through it. Got Strife in there. And if you're a Deadpool fan, this is one of his earliest appearances. Of course, he makes his debut in New Mutants 98. We all know that. But X-Force, the early issues, he plays a pretty big role. He fights Kane. There's also the clash with the Juggernaut and Banshee. You got a very short-lived fight between Shatterstar and Wolverine. I remember this wasn't, yeah. Shatterstar realizes that's not a fight that's going to go too well for him. Yep. You got Sauron. As I said before, Deadpool does play a big part. Alright, let's end it there. Now let's get into the actual new releases. You have a new chapter of Black Panther. We have the Venomized cover right in the front. If you ever wonder what it would be like if T'Challa was wearing the Venom symbiote, there's one potential option. Here's the primary cover. It's also a new chapter of Steve Rogers' Captain America. If you love the Marvel Universe, this is critical reading. Secret Empire is right around the corner. It's also Doctor Strange and the Punisher, Magic Bullets #4. We have V coming in. V, are you still reading this?
I am loving this series.
All right, you want to give them a look and explain why everyone out there should read it?
Well, if you guys like Punisher and Doctor Strange, then you'll know that it's a pretty different combo. It's like one is magic and one is just brutal. So the combination is just pure
Brutal magic?
Yeah, no pun intended, of course, but look at that artwork a little bit. Don't let them know. Come on. Pretty dope stuff. Come on. You can't say no to this at all, folks. The cover alone should sell you on it.
Now, you love you some Marvel.
Oh,
so
of
now
course.
that we're in the Marvel section,
Yes.
have you checked anything else out? Do you have any other recommendations?
I'm going to say Unworthy Thor. I have to say
Okay,
Unworthy
and that's
Thor.
down there, right?
Number 5, yeah. It's, Unworthy Thor, takes a very different look at Thor. You know, being unworthy now, and Jane Foster having Mjolnir. It's a pretty good character study, and at the same time, it's an interesting look into the vast look at the Marvel universe on its own. And you know, Jason Aaron's writing he's Jason Aaron. You know, can't go wrong with that at all. Of course, I just heard you talking about Steve Rogers' Captain America, also another good run. Black Panther. So many. We've got a lot of good titles. If you guys checked out the Iron Fist series on Netflix, I know some of you might feel a little weird about it. The book is phenomenal. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, the first issue's out today, and we do have a Midtown exclusive variant cover by J. Scott Campbell. We have two of them. There's the Venomized, so if you wonder what Iron Fist would look like wearing the Venom symbiote, and there's also the anti-Venomized. So for all the Venom fans out there, you may remember Eddie Brock was briefly anti-Venom. So there's a cover that kind of shows what it would be like if Iron Fist was anti-Venom.
Indeed.
So there's also Elektra. Speaking of Marvel, Netflix, she's a big character in Daredevil season 2. I won't say anything more than that. I hope she has a interesting role in the future of that universe.
I'm pretty sure she will.
Yeah.
You know, Defenders is about to come out. We'll see if anyone watching Iron Fist knows what's going on with the hand, and you know, but I'm gonna keep that on the hush hush. For
Yeah, they expand a lot on the hand in that show.
They do.
But you don't see any actual hand ninjas.
Yeah,
They're never wearing the red costume.
Yeah.
Let's not bash on it though.
Get Madame Gal though, and she's
Yes.
you know, she's awesome as always.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to say to all the people watching on Facebook Live about comics in general?
Please check out Mother Panic when you get the chance. That is my pick of the week.
There's a new issue today.
Yeah, brand new issue today. I'm glad that they're coming out more frequently now because they took a long break. But if you guys are interested in like the DC universe or the Batman universe, Gotham City at all, definitely check out Mother Panic and give these books a read, because this is stuff that you can't get in the movies, all right? Stuff that cannot fit in 2 hours of a movie, all right? So definitely be on the lookout for everything Marvel, DC, Valiant, Indie, Image, IDW, anything, all right?
V, thank you very much.
G-Reg, don't
VEE. All right, so we have a second chapter of Elektra. She has gone to Las Vegas to try to get away, just figure out what she wants to do with her life, because obviously things were a little complicated over in Hell's Kitchen, but now things are complicated in Las Vegas as well, because Arcade is there. And once he finds out that Elektra's there, he's of course want to have some fun, play some games with her, see what she can survive. It's also Fool Killer number 5, Gamora with the Venomized variant in the front. This is chapter 4. Now this is by the co-writer of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So if you were interested in the character, you should be reading this. It's also Hulk, which stars She-Hulk. That's issue number 4. It's also an Inhumans versus X-Men tie-in, The Uncanny Inhumans. If you're interested in the show that's coming to ABC, check it out. Come on. And as I said before, Iron Fist number 1, we have Midtown exclusive covers by J. Scott Campbell. Here's a look at the regular variant. I believe it was Joe from Marvel who referred to him as Venom Fist. And then there's also the anti-Venomized variant. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the dragon on his chest has come to life. There's a tail, there are wings. A lot of cool little features that J. Scott Campbell included in here. And once again, these are only available at Midtown Comics stores or midtowncomics.com. And if anyone's trying to get them on eBay, you're probably getting ripped off, because I guarantee people are going to sell these for more than we're selling them. So just buy a copy for yourself here. And there's also the regular cover for Iron Fist number 1, as well as another variant. So let's take a look at this brand new series for Iron Fist, written by Ed Brisson and illustrated by Mike Perkins. Alright, let's end it there. Iron Fist number 1, on sale today. As you heard before, V strongly recommends it. I have not. There's also Invincible Iron Man number 5. You got the Venomized cover. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis. Oh, wow, I'm only finding the Venomized. There we go. There's There's also a new chapter of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, as well as the final chapter of Prowler, one of my favorite Spider-Man family characters. There's also chapter 4 of Rocket Raccoon by friend of the store, Matthew Rosenberg, as well as Jorge Galejo. His encounter with Kraven obviously went pretty well, if that's how we're opening up. Let's leave it on that note. How will the fight between Rocket Raccoon and Kraven the Hunter conclude? You'll have to read it to find out. Or you can look on the internet for spoilers, but don't do that. Read it for yourself. It's also Spider-Gwen, which is part of the Sitting in a Tree crossover, which, come on, you can see who it features right here. Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. Let's take a look. And let's say you have not read chapters 1 through 5. You have a previously on right here. Alright. There's also the Venomized variant. A little frightening. It's also Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. The Venomized variant is front and center for that. Let's give you a look at the regular cover as well. Darth Maul, number 2. Alright, I gotta show you this. I'm not gonna say anything, but if you read, or excuse me, if you watch Star Wars Rebels, I don't even want to say anything more than that. Just, I'm glad there's a Darth Maul comic. The dude can't go very long without getting into a fight. It's just not in his nature.
He's a villain.
Once again, Darth Maul, number 2. And as V recommended before, Unworthy Thor, number 5. I gotta give you a look. It's one of his recommendations. V, I have fallen behind. Have they given away yet what Nick Fury whispered into Thor's ear?
Maybe. Don't spoil it.
No, I'm just asking. I'm not asking what was whispered. Just have they actually revealed that yet, or
Perhaps.
Alright. It's a firm maybe. I guess I'll have to catch up and find out for myself.
The fun way.
Yeah. Alright. There's also the Ultimates 2, number 5, and Extraordinary X-Men, number 20. That is it for the latest edition of New Comic Book Day. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we hope you enjoyed reading a lot of new comics. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy reading comics and be good to each other. See you next Wednesday. Flash!